Today's episode, we're going to do a top-down analysis on Bitcoin and try to see if we could be headed back to 100K or will there be more downside. Welcome back to FlexCandle, where we read the candles and flex the moves. Right now, it's about 4:07 p.m. Eastern Time and the price of Bitcoin is currently at $87,425. Today, we have the 2-week candle close. This closes in about 3 hours. And right now, we are bearish. I would have to tell you that. But what is bullish right now is that we are bouncing off the 50 moving average, which is currently at 84,071. We went as low as 80,600, so for us to be at 87K is pretty good. That's a $7,000 move already. Let's see if we could close above this 50 moving average. That would be a little bit more bullish for the time being. The RSI is still pointing down and the stochastics are still on the way down. Before this starts reversing up, honestly, this could take us into January, probably even February, depending on how fast the stochastics want to move. Another candle close that we have is this weekly candle close, also closes in about 3 hours. Now, you guys know that on this channel I've been telling you guys, if we lose a 50 moving average, to me that could be the beginning of the bear market. Last week we did lose the 50 moving average. That's currently at 102,681. Now, I was telling you guys I'm going to wait for a confirmation candle, and if we close the way we are closing right now, which looks like it, because I don't think we're going to make a move all the way to 102K within 3 hours, this is the nail in the coffin for me, and this confirms to me that right now we're going to some type of bear market. That doesn't necessarily mean it has to be a 2-year one, a 5-month one, a 3-month one. I don't know, but currently right now, unless we could get above this 50 moving average, we, to me, are in a bear market. The stochastics are still on the way down. We're starting to see some curvature, but again, this could still take a couple of weeks. This could take us into January before we start heading up. Now, we did lose the 100 moving average briefly. It looks like we will be closing above the 100 moving average. I was telling you guys, I see us going back to test the 80 moving average. That's currently at 89,874. To me, I feel like we might be testing around 89,000, 90,000, maybe even 91K before falling back down. But again, if we can't get above this 50 moving average, to me, we're still in the bear market. Now, if we go back to the past bull run here, we see that once we lost the 50 moving average, we started going down. We actually went down to test the 100 moving average. This actually took us like 6 or 7 weeks to do. We ended up doing it now in just 1 week. And eventually we did get a rally back up to test the 50 moving average. But as you can see, we got rejected. I feel like that's exactly what's going to happen here. Same thing, we lost a 50 moving average. We're testing the 100 moving average. Eventually, we're going to come back up to test that 50 moving average and possibly fail and fall down. Last time, they waited until the 21 moving average crossed the 50 moving average. And I just feel like since the 50 moving average is at 102,679, I don't think that they're going to want us to cross back above 100K. So it's possible that that relief rally to the 50 moving average wouldn't happen until the 50 moving average is like at 99K, 98K. That's my speculation. Let's see what ends up happening. Now, on the other time frames, you see the 6-day chart. The stochastics here are still on the way down. You're starting to see some curve, but we still have not been able to get above this dotted line. We lost the 100 moving average. We're trying to see if we could get back above it. We still have 3 days before this closes. On the 3-day chart, stochastics are dragging here on the floor as well. We lost the 200 moving average. We're getting a good pump up. Right now, we're getting a green bullish hammer here. We still have about 3 hours before this candle closes. I hope we could close above the 200 moving average. That's at 88,139. I feel like we will. But if we don't and we get rejected from here, then unfortunately, I believe that it's possible that we could end up falling down to the 4-day 200 moving average, which is currently at 77,000. Now, if we head over to the daily chart, we see that now the stochastics are starting to point up. Again, this doesn't mean that we can't roll over. Anytime we got some strength, we usually are rolling over. We're having some type of morning star, kind of, it looks like here. We're starting to get a green candle up. It's possible that we could get up towards the 21 moving average. That's at 97K. But where are the stochastics going to be? If by the time we get to the 21 moving average, we're toppy here, we could easily roll over and get rejected. Can this be an inverted head and shoulder where this is the left shoulder, this is the head? But for that to happen, we will have to get to about the 50 moving average, and that's at 106K. And I don't feel like they're gonna want us to get above $100,000. But let's see what ends up happening. If we could make it to the 50 moving average and reject, we would be above the 50 moving average on the weekly. Again, we would have to get a weekly close above the 50 moving average to get bullish again. So let's see what ends up happening. I feel like we will probably reject off this 21 moving average and probably head down. Hopefully I'm wrong. On the other time frames, if we take a look at the 22-hour time frame, we see that the stochastics are low, we're on the way up. The RSI is low, we're on the way up. Again, we have not been able to really get above this 21 moving average with strength. This is currently at 91K. Let's see if we don't get rejected from there. On the 8-hour chart now, on these smaller time frames, things are starting to get tight. toppy. So this is why I'm thinking that we're probably going to get rejected soon. We're already toppy on the 8 hour. We're still not above this 21 moving average. On the 4 hour time frame, you can see that we are already toppy. We barely got above the 21 moving average. If this starts to roll over, we're probably going to lose this 21 moving average. We would have to fully reset to the bottom, start coming up, and still stay above 85,465 for us to remain bullish. It looks like we might be going towards the 50 moving average, which is again at 89,910, and then probably get rejected from there. The other time frames are starting to get toppy as well. If we take a look at this 2 hour time frame, look how toppy we are. We've been dragging here for a while. We got above the 50, but look, we're starting to get wicks. It looks like we might be falling down again. If we take a look at the 1 hour chart, stochastics are starting to curve on the top already. We didn't even make it that much above the dotted line. We did cross all these moving averages. The next one we would have to break is this 200 moving average, but look, this is at 90k. We're already toppy, so this is what I'm saying. We might go to 90k and then get rejected from here. One time frame that I am liking is this 15-minute time frame, because we have finally been able to break above this 200 moving average. If we zoom out here, we see that we have not really been above the 200 moving average with a lot of strength since all the way back like in the beginning of November around here. As you can see over here, like November 9th was the last time that we were really above all these averages, and since then we've been dropping down, and the 200 moving average has been resistance. As you can see, that yellow line, we have not been able to really break it with strength all the way until right now, but we are already rolling over on the stochastics. We never made it to the top, so if we end up losing this 21 moving average at 87,161, it looks like we could be heading down again. We have to stay above the 200 moving average at 85,300 to remain bullish and to try to creep back up. If we lose this again, then I do see more downside. All right, guys, so that's the breakdown. If this gave you clarity or a setup to watch, do me a favor, like, drop a comment, subscribe, and if you have a stock or crypto you want me to go over, drop it in the comment section. This is FlexCandle, where we read the candles and flex the moves. Catch you on the next chart.